Welcome to Party on Broad. I'm Freddie Burns with my partner Chris Dives, and we have special guest Mitch Kofsky of the Hardcore Sports Network here. Boy, am I pumped up for tonight. We have an exciting show for everyone. We got Sixers, Eagles. Sixers, hottest team in the NBA right now. Why is there no juice? There's no juice in this city for the Sixers. And then, of course, on Saturday night, the divisional round, the Eagles host the New York Giants. But there's a myth out there. There's a giant myth that we're going to dispel later. But we're going to open this up. We got a long show. We want to make it within a 30-minute segment there, so we're going to be quick. Let's start with the Sixers here. Dives, why do I got to be excited? Why do I got to be excited about the Sixers?
Joel Embiid is averaging 35-plus points per game in January. He's averaging more points in his career, in any season in his career. He's having the most efficient scoring season in his career. He's second in points per touch among 213 qualified players. James Harden is a plus 36 on the court in January. He has in 41% of the games, 20-plus points, 10-plus assists. The Sixers have the fourth best defensive rating in the NBA, the fifth best net rating, and they have the fifth best differential in the sport with their top three players missing double-digit games. Any player with common sense would say if you're top 10 in offense, if you're top 10 in defense, you're an elite basketball team. The Sixers are nearly top 5 in both of those categories, and yet the Sixers fans, majority casual fans, still want to dismiss Philadelphia 76ers. I haven't been able to kind of break down the Sixers this year, but I've got a lot to talk about tonight.
They're 28-16, third in the Eastern Conference now, with four and a half back of first of those Celtics. Mitch, what's there to be excited about these 76ers?
I gotta say this, Maxey off the bench. I've actually been saying that for like a while now, that Maxey should come off the bench for like a spark. And Maxey actually wanted to come off the bench, which is huge. Can you imagine? He can start anywhere he wants in the league. But he's like, no, I'll go on the bench. And Anthony Melton is doing his thing. So Maxey coming off the bench is huge.
We are going to get into Maxey as well coming off the bench. Is it good or is it bad? What's up, Pat Bernard? Thanks for listening of Devro Sports. Let's start with this dynamic duo, this elite duo. Joel Embiid's averaging 33.6 points per game, 9.8 rebounds, 4.2 assists. Harden, 21.7 points per game, 11 assists, 6.3 rebounds, 38.2% from three. Look at this elite tandem that we're watching as this pick and roll, fake pick and roll. Just enjoy the highlights here. James Harden and Embiid, this tandem is something that this is what we wanted it to be, what we dreamed for it to be, and it's coming alive before our eyes. Joel Embiid with according to Sean Barnard, Joel Embiid's stats with Harden on the court versus off the court is growing as well. He makes Embiid better. For anyone that wants to question if it's working or not, 50.7 points per possession for Joel Embiid with Harden on the court, only 44 per 100 possessions, only 44.2 points per 100% with Harden off the court. And then everyone's like, oh, well, Embiid's on the three-point line too much, which I agree with sometimes, but not when Harden's on the floor. When Harden's on the floor, his rim frequency is 35.6%. When Harden's off the floor, ironically, as he banks in a three here, when he's off the floor, it's 28.3% rim frequency. Mitch, how is this duo doing in your eyes?
This duo is exactly what I wanted to see. The first full season of James Harden and Joel Embiid. Last year, he was coming off the trade, and of course, they can't gel right away. So this season, we actually get to see it. The pick and roll is deadly, the pick and pop. Harden averaging a double-double, which is huge for Joel Embiid because he doesn't need the ball in his hands for most of the time. So I actually like it. I think it's the best duo in the league. Sorry, KD. Sorry, Kyrie.
How about you, Dives? What's up with this duo?
I mean, it's always been about sharing the basketball. And I think the Sixers are always at their worst when it's just dump the ball down to Joel, everybody ball watching, Joel Embiid playing too much hero ball. You look at Embiid and Harden sharing the court together, plus 6.1 plus minus, 13.1 net. James Harden is also hitting 40% from three in January. Over the last 15 games, man, Embiid and Harden are averaging 56.2 points per game combined. That's only worse than Tatum and Brown for Boston at 67.7 points per game. That's better than Brooklyn's Durant and Kyrie Irving. And I think this is a show about being optimistic about the Sixers moving forward. I think the biggest news to talk about here is James Harden's growth in the pick and roll for the Philadelphia 76ers. He was 45th percentile during last year's regular season. He was 63rd percentile during the 2022 playoffs. This year, 73rd percentile as a ball handler in the pick and roll. The growth between Embiid and Harden is absolutely everything when it comes to the playoffs, because we all know too much ISO ball kills this team. That's, I think, a big reason why fans are kind of down, at least when it comes to the regular season this year. But if those two can keep that train rolling, keep progressing, keep growing chemistry in the pick and roll, there is something there.
Harden to Embiid, they have 118 assists, Harden to Embiid, most of any duo in the league. So I agree with you, the pick and roll, the evolvement of Harden as a passer overall, 11.1 assists per game. We had so many games. He tied the Sixers single season record for assists in a game. He's been a passing machine, not only with Joel Embiid, everyone on the floor, and this team an offense is way better with Harden on the floor. We saw when Harden was out for that month or so how stagnant it was, how aggravating it was. Doc this, Doc that, Doc. And Doc has his flaws, don't get me wrong, but we didn't have a point guard that distributes the ball. This is what we wanted out of Ben Simmons, isn't it?
It is, man. And I like the experimentation we're seeing. Let's get into the three lineup kind of stuff that we have heard in recent weeks here.
All right, Doc has three lineups.
There it is.
That you like to see. You got Harden, Melton, Harris, Tucker, Embiid. Then Harden, Maxey, Harris, Tucker, Embiid. Harden, Maxey, Melton, Harris, Embiid. So that's his three starting lineups. I guess I'll ask you, Mitch. Pick one. What's your favorite one?
Honestly, the third one. Third one. I don't want PJ Tucker. Get rid of Tucker. How many minutes is that guy having? Like 20 plus? Like, god dang. But yeah, I'm going with the third. Tobias Harris turning up, playing his role. DeAnthony Melton, best move of the offseason. I love this guy next to Maxey, next to Embiid, next to Harden. I love it. Great.
I agree. Tucker's playing way too much. Like, he needs to be in the playoffs. He's playing hurt, too. That's the other thing. It aggravates the hell out of me. If he's hurt, get off the floor, sit out for 20 games, and come back for the playoffs. Why we got you. And why isn't Doc and management or anyone saying, get off the floor? Like, we saw, why is he playing center? He should be backing up Tucker and bringing off the bench. Like, it just makes so much sense. I don't understand why they're not doing it. But enough ranting about Tucker. All right, you want to rant? Go.
Whoa. You're out of the conversation because any lineup that punts PJ Tucker to the freaking moon is okay by me. To the moon. I think the biggest thing here is you look at George Niang. Niang is having a terrific year. Niang with Harden and Embiid, they're a plus 23. Niang currently leads the NBA in points per spot up possession. His minutes are down, but he's doing a really good job making it basically impossible for teams to double down low on Joel Embiid. Of course, he has those defensive deficiencies there, which will be critical come playoff time. The other thing that we have to bring up is Matisse Thybulle. I know I'm probably going to lose a lot of followers here, but no one can convince me that Matisse Thybulle can't do 100% or 120% of what PJ Tucker is currently giving the Philadelphia 76ers. You look at Thibault, he's included in nearly the top 3 plus minus 5-man combination lineups for the Sixers right now. You look at the lineups with Melton and Thibault, the Sixers and James Harden and Embiid, they're a plus 42. It's a small sample size. I'm not saying like punting PJ Tucker to the moon is going to like make them an automatic contender, but I'm not saying that. I mean, there's definitely something there. A contending team that's dormant right now, and all it is just moving PJ Tucker to the bench or significantly reducing his role on this team moving forward.
Do you agree? And I want to ask you this as well, Mitch. Do you agree with Doc using the 3 different starting lineups?
Just get rid of PJ Tucker. Like, I just want PJ Tucker on the bench.
I get it. We just said that, but do you agree with the 3 lineups?
I mean, can Thibault get more minutes? That's what I want, but I guess I agree with it to an extent.
I think I agree with Doc. Like, as much as like people were laughing at him, and I think I crushed him at first in the beginning. Like, your first thought, like, oh yeah, you're a genius, Doc. Here we go. But it's good to mix and match. It's good to identify strengths and weaknesses of other teams, and then adapt your lineup to that. And you were talking about it before the show. You praised Doc a little bit, and I heard praise from Chris Dive's mouth for Doc. I don't know if he didn't want me to tell anyone, but I heard it.
If anybody didn't know, I'm one of Doc's biggest fans, clearly. But yeah, I give him credit for experimenting. You know, he's still got a lot to kind of figure out, especially when it comes to Thibault. And yes, I am a B-Ball Paul fan.
Me too.
Credit to Trez for kind of balling a little bit better in the last month or so. But I agree, Quentin. The concern with Maxey and Harden in the backcourt in the playoffs is legit. I mean, that's what this all comes down to. You know, the playoffs you're as good as your last, or you're good as your worst defender. And Maxey and Harden against teams that will zone you, they really struggle with that. Look at OKC a few games ago. So they struggle with teams like that. You look at Boston, that's a major concern. But that's down the road. That is down the road. So for me, you gotta figure something out with PJ Tucker. It's clear that his role on this team is to make Joel Embiid and James Harden happy. For what it is, for whatever it is what it is. That's the only thing I can think of, because he doesn't fit Doc's offense at all. There's no ball movement. He's not cutting to the basket. He's barely shooting threes. I mean, he defends the opponent's best player, but he doesn't do that great. So who knows?
You brought up Maxey, and that's the last thing I'm going to get to with the Sixers. He's now moved into this 6-man role the last 2 games, playing tremendously. I think 20-plus points in both games, 23 points the other night. He seems to be embracing it, actually liking it, as Mitch said earlier. You talked about the defense, and when he's on the floor, they're bottom 30. They're 29, I think, against guards. You see these guards go off night after night when Harden and Maxey are on the floor together. Off the floor, top 5 defense. Mitch, you were really excited about it in the intro. What's up with Maxey as the 6-man?
I love it, man. It gives you that spark. It gives you that spark what we need. I mean, come on. Niang. Someone with Niang on the floor is slow as hell. I mean, come on. We're one of the slowest teams. So Maxey on the bench, athleticism, you got Sigma, and you got Thibault, and you got Montrez. So they're slow. You need some speed. You need some young guys, and Maxey's there. Maxey's there. Perfect for that role. Perfect. I love it.
You like Maxey as a 6-man or as a starter, Dibs?
I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter who starts. It matters who finishes. And all of that is contingent on who has confidence, who's hitting their shots, and what the opposing team presents in terms of lineups and size and play style. So that's going to be really big for them. At the end of the day, Maxey's confidence and growing as a basketball player is really the only chip the Sixers have currently to going from here to there as a contender. They have to figure it out. And I'm going to say it again. Kudos to Doc for figuring this out. This is something we have said before the season started. Why not try and see what it looks like with Maxey leading the second unit? Because everybody knows there has been times this season with no Embiid and no Harden, or no Embiid and just Harden and Maxey. Sixers looks like a completely different team when they're pushing the basketball. They're getting Maxey in the open court, and Maxey's doing what he does best. His bread and butter is just being a lightning bolt down that open court, and we'll see what happens. But that's all you can ask. I mean, that's all you can ask at this point, to see for Doc Rivers to kind of play around with these things and see what works and get ready for the playoffs.
Maxey was projected as a sixth man when he was drafted. They said he didn't have his shooting yet. They didn't know he was going to develop the shooting, though, which he did rather quickly. So, I agree with Quentin Moore here checking in. Thank you always for chiming in and listening as well, Quentin. Only Embiid, Harden, and Toby should be on the floor at the end of all games. Everyone else should be played according to matchups. I couldn't agree more. It's a perfect way. Toby plays defense. He's not going to be the guy you're going to give the ball to, but he is a threat. You have to put a man on him. And at the end of games, they're not. These three are not people you have to bring off the floor because of the D. Harden gets criticized for his defense. He's not terrible. He makes plays. He's aggressive when he wants to be, and typically at the end of games he is. So that's all we got for the Sixers here. So let's jump into, and before we jump into the Eagles, big game on Sunday. Me and Dives, we do a post halftime and pregame show every week, but this week it's going to be live. Me and Dives won't be there. It's going to be live in Delaware County, down in, they put Leicester, PA. It's Prospect Park, PA, 400 Powhatan Avenue, Kelly's Corner Bar. Get there before and after. There'll be a live pregame show. Me and Dives will probably do a halftime show, internet from our home, and then there'll be a post-game show as well. So get down to Kelly's Corner Bar in Delco. Check that out. Now, let's get to the Giants. In my opinion, the biggest rival. Okay, and we need to dispel this myth that everyone's so worried about, trying to beat a team the third time, and how crazy it is. Dives, Mitch, if you know, say it. Do you know the actual record of teams that play the third time?
I think it's 15-9.
It's 21-14.
21-14.
I was going to say 17-10.
Oh, record of teams in the playoffs. I'm sorry, let me clarify. Record of teams in the playoffs that are 2-0 facing the third team. So 60% of the time, that team wins. And that's according to John Clark of NBC Sports. Okay. So, what are we worried about here? What's the problem here?
Let's be clear. This is a very different Giants team the Eagles are facing. And, there's no question. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but the blueprint is out there on how to kind of slow down. I'm not saying beat the Eagles, but absolutely slow down the Eagles. That's all about long sustaining drives. It's all about controlling time of possession. It's all about limiting turnovers. And the Giants are very good at that. And they've got a solid defensive line, even though that kind of gets negated when it comes to the Eagles' offensive line, which is the best in football. The Giants are playing really, really well right now, led by Brian Daboll. And his creative play calling is arguably the most fun to watch in football right now. The misdirections, the pre-snap movements, the behind-the-back handoffs, like, it's nuts. And just immense amount of respect for the Giants and Brian Daboll and what he has been able to do for this Giants team, getting into this matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're going to lose it. We're going to break that down why. But for me, it doesn't matter, because both of those first two games couldn't be any different. The second game for the Eagles, they literally took out 90% of their running plays, and it was a vanilla cupcake game plan against this team. The Giants barely played any of their starters. At the end of the day, that doesn't matter. 1 game, 2 game, 3 games. It does not matter. What does matter, the Eagles better be on their A game because they're facing a hot Giants team.
The other myth, a red-hot Giants team. That is a myth as well. Chris.
All right, let's hear it.
So, Mitch, let me say why I should be scared of the red-hot Giants team that has won 3. That's 3 of their last 9 games. 3 of their last 9. The not red-hot Giants. Are you scared of them? Are they red-hot? Am I crazy here?
No, but they had Kenny Galladay score on us, so that's kind of embarrassing. But I'm actually really confident about this game. Like, I haven't been most confident in a while. But when it comes to this Giants team and what the coaching has done, you got to look at the players and how they build themselves up from the beginning to now. Yes, they won 3. Yes, whoop-de-doo. I mean, they're not going to win. Let's just keep it at that. They're not going to win. I'm getting really tired of this, and I had to deal with Giants fans all week in my network. Like, oh my God, it's crazy. I can't take it anymore.
I have no worry for them either. Before we get into our predictions, though, I want to get into. I hate the Giants. I hate them just as much as the Cowboys, to be honest with you. So let's just go around real quick. I'll start with Dibes. I was going to do top 5. We don't have enough time. Your most hated Giant. And by the way, I'm stealing this from WIP. The NY stands for next year. The next year Giant. By the way, so who's your most hated Giant and why?
I mean, I would like to say Eli Manning. Because watching the Giants win that Super Bowl and all that kind of stuff was some of the most painful sports watching of my life. But I will say Jeremy Shockey. I'm a little bit older. I remember just absolutely hating Jeremy Shockey, his matchups in the red zone against Brian Dawkins, man. And to be fair, Jeremy Shockey came out on top way more than I liked, especially on those 50-50 balls. Dude was a monster, but the dude was just a straight-up jackass, man. I hated Jeremy Shockey. One of the ultimate hate-the-face players of all time.
I hated him so much as well. Mitch, who's your hated Giant?
Tiki Barber.
Yeah, nice.
Hey, he's annoying now, too.
Running back, bro. That running back we could not stop. I hate him, and surprisingly, I hate his brother more for that pick. I hate him more than Tiki Barber, but oh my God, Tiki Barber.
Rondé Barber's worse because that was the year. That was the year.
Yeah.
I hate the most, and Barber, and he had a fumbling problem too. They made him like around like this, and he was like, screw
and it was just like,
I'm with you there as well. My most hated Giant, it's Eli Manning. It really is. Like, if I look at him, I get annoyed. And I know he's been a little funny on his little show with his brother, but he's tagging off his brother. Like, the show don't work without Peyton, bro. Like, it just doesn't work. I can't stand Eli Manning, not only because he subtly takes shots at Philly, like the kids are giving him the finger and all that, yada, yada. He dramatizes the hell out of that. But because he sucks. He's the most overrated quarterback ever. And the 2 Super Bowls are going to get him in. But he's a 500 quarterback record-wise. He has interceptions galore. He fell to the ground so many times when the pass rush came. I hate Eli Manning. I can't describe it. I hope he comes back like he says he's going to. I said I'm never going to go back to the link, but I'm going to have to make a return. Like, shut the hell up. And I hope every person in there gives him the finger. A double finger, and he can come out and tell a story about that too. Screw Eli Manning.
And I want to add to that, your commercials suck, man. God damn it, they are terrible.
Oh my God, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
Shout out to Michael Strahan, who's just an absolute terrible person. I hated Michael Strahan. Him going up, like I said on my previous one, like him going up against John Runyon. Man, I lost a lot of years of my life watching that matchup. So you can't have a Giants most hated Giants ranking without Michael Strahan.
All right, let's get to our predictions. And I'm going to do the whole NFL here. We'll make it quick, though. You don't got to get a long, drawn-out one. So let's start. We're going to do the Eagles last. Let's start at 4:30. You got Doug Peterson, 9-8 Jaguars, huge comeback last week, going to face his protege, as well as he brought him around as a quarterback. Andy Reid, the 14-3 Chiefs. Mitch, score and who do you think's going to win?
I got Kansas City winning because, it's just Patrick Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day. I mean, come on. He's going to do, no-look passes, that shovel pass. He's going to do whatever he wants to that defense. So, I got 30-10 or 30-20. Kansas City.
Dives. Chiefs or Jags?
God, I want to go Jaguars so bad here. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But I will say Jaguars are going to keep this one interesting. I think the Jaguars are going to show up. I'll go Chiefs 30, Jaguars 27. You look at that Kansas City defense, they struggle against the pass. I think Trevor Lawrence, Dougie P will have something for them. Give me Chiefs winning, but the Jags having an impressive performance.
I've been screaming the Jaguars stink the whole time, and I was feeling great at halftime of that Chargers game. I'm like, they stink. And they came back and proved me wrong. With that said, 42 Chiefs, 17 Jaguars.
Oh, okay.
Damn. And you're not wrong. I said Trevor Lawrence was overrated ever since he was in college.
Oh, man. Not at all.
I think he throws some good balls. He has games where he's around, but he does got a good arm.
Dude,
but let's keep it moving. We're going to go to
Draft Day. Did you see the movie Draft Day?
I love that movie.
I called him Bo Callahan. I called him Bo Callahan.
Stop.
Now I can't do that anymore.
That's an underrated movie, man. I love it.
I love it.
All right, 3 o'clock Sunday, you got the 12-4 Bengals visiting the Buffalo Bills. The rematch kind of the DeMar Hamlin game, except it's in Buffalo. Who do you got on that one, Dibes?
I'm going to go Bengals. I'm going to go Burrow. I'm going to go Chase. I'll go. I just think Burrow's ability to get the ball out fast, get it to Chase, get the ball downfield is going to be too much for the Bills in this one. I'll go Bengals. It's going to be another high-scoring game. I'll go Bengals 34, Chiefs 31. I'm sorry, Bills 31.
Mitch, Bengals or Bills? Bills at home.
I got the Bills, man. I got the Bills. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and that defense, I'm telling you, this is their time, especially the whole DeMar Hamlin situation. They're playing for everything right now. So I got the Bills 27-20.
I'm going Bengals, and not only because I think they're going to win. We have to root for the Bengals. We need an AFC championship game in a stadium, and I think the Chiefs are definitely going to win. So, I know it's because of DeMar Hamlin, and they canceled the game. They should have. I'm not saying that, but it really sucks to play in Atlanta. For both of those fan bases as well. The Chiefs and the Bills have great fan bases. So, Bengals win, close game. I'll go 28-24 Bengals. I'm going to say the Bills. They almost lost to that Miami team last week with what the heck's his name? The third string quarterback. Bengals. 6:30 p.m. Sunday. Cowboys, they got to win. They're on to the divisional round. They're visiting the 49ers. Does the Brock Purdy train end, Mitch?
49ers, man. I'm going with the 49ers because of Christian McCaffrey, arguably the best trade in the whole league. Christian McCaffrey, he's going to win the comeback player of the year, I feel like. So, I got to go with that because Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, and DeMeco Ryans coaching that defense. I mean, that defense is talented, and I got the Niners. 30. No, I'm going 28-24.
Yeah, DeMeco Ryans should get a head coaching job. He definitely should get a ton of interviews, but he should
come
definitely
Philly,
get
we'll take yours as defensive
job.
coordinator.
A lateral move.
Yeah, but
Gannon. Gannon's got a pretty good D, but we'll talk about that another day. Dives, who do you got?
I'm gonna go on the other side. Sorry, Mitch. I gotta think it's gonna come down to Nick Bosa versus Parsons. Whoever gets to the quarterback more. I think this is basically an even match here. At the end of the day, I am not on the Brock Purdy train. I'm sorry.
I'm not either. I'm not
Media
either.
darling right now. He's not the next Tom Brady, and I think that their magical run stops against the Cowboys, and we're going to get one of the best matchups ever in Eagles history: Parsons versus Lane Johnson to get to the Super Bowl. I'll say Cowboys win in a close one. Cowboys win 28-25.
I know. I sadly say this.
If their kicker makes the extra points.
Yeah. I was trolling on Twitter, like supporting the kicker. I'm like, we have to support him. He has to stay. Trolling Cowboys fans. But anyhow, I'm sadly, I agree with you, Dibes. They're going to win this football game, and they're going to go to the NFC Championship at the Link. So I don't even want to give a score. I'm depressed to even say it. But I think they're going to win because I'm not a believer in the 49ers either, especially with Dallas's defense. So let's move to 8:15 Saturday night at the Link. Daniel Jones is 1-9 in primetime games. The Giants come. Eagles are 7.5-point favorites. Mitch, we'll do Mitch first. Eagles winning this game, and by how much? What do you think? How's it going to play out?
It's going to be a close game. It's going to be hard fought. It always is when it's the NFC East rivals. It's always a hard fought game. So for me, I got the Eagles winning 30-27.
30-27. That's
it's going to be a
quarter. Is that going to be a fourth? It's got to be a field goal game to win it in the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
the Cowboys that was done.
I don't know if I can deal with that.
It's going to be close, man. What, you think it's going to be a blowout?
I'll tell you in a minute. Dives, what do you got?
I'm right there with Mitch, man. I think this is going to be a tough game. I'm still on that same vibe. I mean, it was only, a couple of days ago from Birds of the Round Table. I said 23-20 Eagles win. It's going to be a tough game with Jalen Hurts in the fourth quarter, putting his team on his back with a huge run, a touchdown run, or great throw, or something along those lines. It's going to be one of those classic NFC East battles. I do respect the New York Giants. Strength negates strength here. You've got a defensive line for the Giants who love to get to the quarterback blitz, but they didn't blitz much in that wild card matchup and still did a great job. And then you've got the Eagles offensive line, which is the best in the league, as I said. Brian Dable, amazing play caller for the Giants. Jonathan Gannon, trying to get the next head coaching job in the NFL. Just amazing little fun matchups in this matchup. At the end of the day, if there's one thing I know will happen, A.J. Brown will absolutely dominate this Giants secondary, and I expect continuous big plays from this Eagles offense. A.J. Brown is going to be the guy on Saturday night that brings the Eagles a W. Eagles get the W 23-20, and it's going to be intense. It's going to be intense.
Quentin Moore, don't do it to me, Quentin. Come on.
Come on, Quentin.
You've been awesome all year long. Like you're
psychology.
Let's be scared of the 49ers way early. You've been nailing it all. Don't come to me with that stuff. Get that out of here. Not only do I not respect the New York Giants, they stink. Okay.
Oh my God.
And if my wife wasn't kicking the upstairs for me to shut the hell up from screaming, I would flip out right now. This game is going to be so easy. The Eagles will roll like the first time we played them, full strength. My only concern is Lane Johnson's health, and I guess that's a big one. The Giants have not won in Philadelphia, October 27, 2013? What's that, 10 years ago?
I graduated.
And we're like, oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. Dude, I know everyone's nervous because we haven't looked great the last few weeks, but we're full strength. All reports are Hurts looks fine again. The Eagles roll. Minshew might even get some action in. Let's go. Eagles 35, Giants 13.
Holy cow, man. Man, the Tito's will be flowing on Saturday night if that's the case.
Fact you bought in Gardner Minshew.
Dude. Oh, man. I can't wait to talk about this on Saturday. Oh, man. We'll see.
You will see. Me and Dives at halftime. And like I said, if you're in the Delco area, get down to Prospect Park, Kelly's Bar. They'll be doing a live show down there. Before we go, Mitch, tell everyone where they can find you.
All right, so you can find me on Twitter at Mitch Toxie and YouTube Mitch Toxie and the Hardcore Sports Network. We're growing rapid fast, so you got to follow us over there as well.
Yeah, give him a follow. Great network to follow. For Chris Dives, you know where you can find him on the Painted Lines. I'm Freddie Burns from Edge of Philly Sports. This is the Party on Broad. We will see you next week, 7 p.m. on Thursday. Please smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, share us out to everyone. Thank you, everyone, for listening. See you next week. Go Birds.